Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Terratech with me, Elathrex, and of course, welcome to the last video, hopefully taking a look at the new experimental item, or at least the new functional experimental item, the experimental dynamo generator. Now, in the previous few videos, we've tested out different things which affect the generator, and now I think it's about time we try and make some designs which are space efficient and actually usable in the campaign, things which will do more function and be a bit less silly. So the first thing is, a lot of you have now told me that you can actually use this on a single tech. You don't need two techs coming together to work, purely because of the, if I can find it, the rotational anchors. Now, here's my reasoning why I didn't really test this out. If you are on a rotational anchor, you are actually staying put. But what if you make the rotational anchor incredibly lopsided, so most of the mass is on one side? If you spin then, would that cause the dynamos to activate? If that is the case, you can make some incredibly stable designs really, really easily, and then you don't need to use a lot of the other experimental items, which will make things way easier. Essentially, if this is the case, I honestly think this will outdo solar panels. So the first issue, outside of me getting motion sick while doing this, is as you can see, this is not moving very quickly, and that's because the rotational anchors themselves do have a little bit of friction, but of course, we also have the movement device here right next to the center, so it won't be as effective. But still. Okay, yeah, our miles per hour is increasing. That was the main test of this, so I think this should technically function. Okay then. So what I'm going to do is just put some batteries in the center here, then we're going to build incredibly lopsided and see if spinning around as fast as possible will generate us power. If it does, we're then going to make a very efficient design with this, and we'll see if it's better than solar power, or at least comparable. Hey, see this dynamo here? It's placed incorrectly. Well, that's a shame, so Continuum got, nope, that would actually annoy me as well. Originally, that was to annoy you, but nope, it's annoying me more. Well, there we go, fantastic. Of course, you could add way more than it. Wow, that's actually almost up to speed. Curious. Well, we still need to use the linear motion machine anyway, so it seems like the further you go out, the further the anchor will be happy to spin anyway. So that's interesting. The faster it'll be happy to spin. Okay, just for usual gubbins, let's add a couple of these, because why not? Now, of course, you can make this into a proper block of these things, which we will do in the future, but right now I just want to see if this will even work. So that should be generating power. And making me nauseous. Okay, so one thing to note, you do still need to have a wheel. Thankfully, the GSO tracks are really flexible in terms of their size, so it's very easy to just place one. And that's already at full power. That is really quick. So by the time I added the track and then got into this cab, that was full. That's interesting. Yeah, I do honestly believe something like this, as ugly as it is, will be a lot stronger than solar panels. And remember, this will generate power 24/7. Or however long day-night cycles are in Terratech. Once I add one more battery, this will have exactly 20 GSO batteries installed. And what we're going to do is see just how fast this will charge them up. Now bear in mind, you could add way more dynamos to this. This is actually really small. When you look at it in comparison to other techs, this is fairly tiny. Allow me to demonstrate. There's our tank. It's less than half the size. Now, of course, it will take up a lot more space, but still. So, as soon as I'm at max speed, I will start the timer. Since that's how fast we'll be getting power. There we are. And while it's doing that, I'm going to move out, because otherwise I'm going to feel a little bit sick. And let's see how long it takes to charge up all 20 batteries. Already at the halfway mark in 10 seconds. You could, of course, also make this go faster, and probably use better anchors as well. And there we are, 21 seconds according to my stopwatch, to charge up 20 batteries. In other words, it's charging up one battery per second, and that will go on all day and all night forever. So yeah, I think right there, that is the most efficient we're going to get. Not this design specifically, but the one tech design is going to be the most efficient way to get lots and lots of power. In fact, what we're going to do is use it to charge up the tank, because why not? Actually, you're going to need quite a few of these, because otherwise you won't be able to transfer power as fast as possible. There we are. Still about 50, so it's close to its nominal power. In fact, nope, it's still not transferring power fast enough with all of those charges. That is phenomenal. So the next version I want to test out is very, very simple, and this will be the last test. So this is most likely going to be quite a short video in comparison to the others, and I am absolutely fine with that, because next time we're going to be designing properly, so we'll be building in the campaign itself. But that is utterly magnificent. Also, next time I do some tests like this, I'll make sure to structure it a bit better, maybe just make it into one video, because it's been a bit needlessly complicated. So what I would like the design to be is essentially a horizontal version of the two Tech Dynamo, because I think this will look really, really cool, and then you can build them around and have them a little bit more showy than those types of designs. I mean, that's the main problem. I can't see how you're going to make that look good without making it way too heavy or adding way too much to it. In terms of pure efficiency, something like that is kind of what you want. So what I would like is to have one of the axles on its side, and then have the dynamo going around and round there. But of course, it needs to touch either another tech or the ground, and touching the ground while going like this is going to be difficult, which means it needs to always be in contact with the anchored tech. And that's where it's going to get a little bit difficult. So, I'm going to be messing around with the better future designs to see if we can make up something which would look decent, but also work. So maybe something like this. That way we can even make it into a dome on both sides. That would look lovely. Now with this design type we're going to be using the small axle, just so it fits directly in the middle. Now if this one works, it's going to be lovely and repeatable, and that would be fantastic. You just build this as long as you want, and you can even build them side to side, up and down. It's all well and good. So, let's try and get this to work though first, eh? Let's not celebrate just yet. This is going to be really difficult to place. Actually, yeah, the friction this is going to have is going to be horrendous. Maybe I do need it to be a little bit further out, so one further out. But let's see if I can place it in here. If I can place it in here, that's going to be gorgeous. All nice and streamlined, it's going to be nice. I just don't think it's going to work. I was building a few workarounds, and sadly I figured out something which makes this completely impossible anyway. So although I love how this looks, and you can always do this just vertical rather than horizontal, it doesn't count as moving. That tech there is not moving according to the game. Which is bizarre to me, since I thought vertical movement would count as well, but apparently this does not work. If we go over to this and be warned, this is going to cause some serious motion sickness. Whee! 1 mile an hour. And I think it's because the tech is constantly flipping. It goes to 65 miles an hour for a second, but then once again reverts. Runaway hammer! Okay, nope, that did not work. Well, after a lot of testing, a few things I have concluded. This is definitely the least efficient way of using the dynamo, but it looks really, really cool in my opinion. And this is just a simple design made in like 10 minutes, because sadly I am running out of time already. This is an extra video I'm recording very soon after the last video, since I wanted to test out a few more final things. I promise, the next time I test things out I will be a little bit more concise. But here's the other thing. Despite it looking awesome, it is really glitchy. It's very prone to glitches, and if you don't give them enough space, they really, really freak out. The friction can be fine, and then suddenly out of nowhere, one of these sections gets thrown out, and then everything stops working. So, not the best way to use these, but if you're dead set on making a certain design, you certainly can, and if you don't have, like, caps on the end, you can make them far more stable. In fact, if you don't have the caps on the end at all, it's not that much more unstable than the vertical version, but I would still say this is the least efficient version, since you are also fighting gravity, which isn't particularly fun. Then the vertical version is the next least efficient, and then finally, the most efficient, we have the single tech in the background, because that, in my opinion, is even beating solar panels. It seems to be generating as much, if not more power, for the space it's using, and it works during the night. So I think that does beat out the solar panels, at least in terms of just reliability. Now the question is, can we make this type of design look good? I think you can, but it's going to be difficult. I'm thinking maybe building a tech around this, so you can't see the full thing, but only a section of it would be an easy way to make this look way better. Kind of similar to what's going on here. You can't see all the innards from most of the angles, only some of the motions. In fact, it looks a bit like an engine from this angle, so you could do something like that, or you could just make sure it's all sort of armored up. That would look cool as well. But I think that is the testing done. So, I do hope you've enjoyed this little extra video. I just thought I'd make it because I still felt like I wasn't doing the Dynamo enough service. In the next video, it will be a proper video once again, either doing a full, complete design or going back into the campaign, that I promise. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech and these random little videos are something you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye. This was a very short, very silly video, but I had fun, and that's the important thing.